been posted in time and manner as required by law. At this time, I will ask the esteemed Eric Horton to give us an invocation. And Tim Swearengin, if you don't mind, lead us in the pledge.
Father God, we come in your name, Jesus, and Lord, we thank you for this day and this time. I thank you, God, for the men and women of this school board. I thank you for their commitment to you, to the school district, and I ask God tonight that you give them the knowledge and wisdom and understanding to do the work of the district. And Lord, just bless us all. In your precious Lord's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. It's always great to see faces and people that I feel very good about representing up here on the board. We'll give Ms. Edwards just a minute. Our layout is not the best, but we're working on it. So, do we have any public comment?
No, sir, we don't.
Thank you, ma'am. This time, we'll roll on into the superintendent's report. Mr. Smith.
All right, it's always great to start off with recognitions. We'll start off with Major Milligan. If you're going to come up here first.
We're here tonight to recognize a promotion to non-commissioned officer, or NCO. In Civil Air Patrol, like in the Air Force, an NCO consists of all of the sergeant ranks, and Cadet Staff Sergeant is the first step. The Non-Commissioned Officer Corps has been referred to as the backbone of the armed services, and they are really the most visible, for many military people, the most visible leaders, and they are primarily responsible for executing the military's missions. And in our case, in the Air Force Auxiliary, they are key in helping train our cadets so that they're prepared to execute their mission of becoming better students and better citizens. At this time, I want to call forward Cadet Staff Sergeant Sebastian Olguin and his parents. You can hold it like that and turn around so your parents can. We've invited his parents to pin his rank on.
I'll take a picture right here with him.
Get everybody in.
Yeah, get in there.
You too, man.
Congratulations. Okay, we'll go on to Student of the Month from Oak Grove.
This is Paulo Davila. He is a student of the month at Oak Grove. He is a 5th grade student and his favorite subject is math. He is the son of Liana Davila and Paulo Davila Hernandez. Paulo is an outstanding example of what it means to be respectful, hardworking, and a growth-minded student. He demonstrates kindness and respect towards his teachers and classmates. He has emerged as a strong leader in the classroom and encourages his peers to stay focused and models responsibility by owning his mistakes and taking steps to correct them. He approaches learning with a genuine enthusiasm and often shares new insights with his classmates, helping create a supportive and collaborative learning environment for everyone. Outside of school, Paulo enjoys playing video games, and his favorite game is Roblox. But he did tell me a little bit about virtual reality, so I learned a little bit about that world when I was talking with him. And when he grows up, he wants to be a YouTuber, and he wants to create fun and positive content for children and teenagers. His goal is to make sure his videos are safe, friendly, and encouraging for younger audiences. And we are so glad you're at Oak Grove.
So as always, our students of the month get the certificate and from our sponsor, Texas Farm Bureau. They have a sign to put out and they get a $25 gift card to Sonic. Oh, you got your hands full there, huh? let them give you a hand. Come, why don't you come shake our hands? Right up over, keep going. Congratulations, good job.
Good job.
Good report. Let's do Employee of the Month from Oak Grove.
November Employee of the Month for Oak Grove is Ashley Sims. Ashley is, I don't even know, she has my heart. If I ask her to do anything, she just jumps in. She does whatever is needed, wherever is needed. This is a couple of things that your coworkers said about you. You are always willing to help wherever is needed and never complains. You always go where you were supposed to be and wants to help the students and teachers at Oak Grove. Someone else said, the word dependable comes to mind immediately when thinking about Ashley, but honestly, that word doesn't even begin to cover it. She is the parent who gets called on to do all the things, and she does every one of them with professionalism, grace, and heart. Ashley shows up on time every single day, ready to give her best. No matter the challenge she faces, she maintains a positive outlook and treats every student with deep respect and care. Her ability to see the best in all students, even those who test the boundaries the most, is truly unmatched. Ashley's flexibility and professionalism stands out in a big way. She works across multiple classrooms, each with its own routines, expectations, and personalities, and she adjusts seamlessly. That is not an easy task, but Ashley makes it look effortless. She builds strong relationships with teachers and students alike, always keeping her foot where it belongs on what's best for kids. No matter the situation, she's first to jump in and help, doing whatever needs to be done to make sure learning happens for every student. You consistently go above and beyond your assigned duties. You are dependable. Like one of your coworkers said, I can count on you. I am so thankful for your heart and the heart for the students at Oak Grove. Congratulations.
If you get the picture, Miss Sims, if you don't mind, Mr. Martinez.
We'll hunt you down.
Congratulations, thank you for everything.
Thank you so much for everything.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Colonial Heights, Miss Webb is out, so Miss Green is gonna
Go ahead, Ms. Green.
Okay.
Sorry about that. You switched gears on me.
Yes, sir, sorry.
That's okay.
Our Colonial Heights November Employee of the Month is Maritza Reese. Maritza is a Brownfield native and graduated at Coven in 2007. She's been a nurse for 13 years and has worked for BISD for 8 years. During her time in BISD, Maritza's worked at BBAC, Colonial Heights, and Oak Grove. Her hobbies include hanging out with her husband Josh and her kids, Ebony, Eliana, Evelyn, and Ezra. She says having so many kids, that's all she has time for. Maritza is great with all students and staff at Colonial Heights. When she walks in the room, it lightens up, and she always has a contagious smile. We're so happy to have her at Colonial Heights. She's family. Maritza is an excellent nurse and shows so much care and compassion for our staff and students at Colonial Heights. She's always smiling and happy to help. Thank you for all you do. We're so thankful for Nurse Reese and the calm, caring way she handles every situation. From minor bumps and bruises to unexpected emergencies, she's always there to keep our staff and students safe and cared for. Your steady hand and caring heart have not gone unseen. You've handled every incident with such grace and compassion. We're so lucky to have you watching over our cubs. For these and many more reasons, we're honored to name you as our Colonial Heights Employee of the Month for November.
Come on over, Miss Reese. I don't think that $25 gift card's gonna cut it for all your kids, though.
Happy hour. Happy hour.
Maritza. This particular month of Employees of the Month really shows like how old I am and how long I've been in this, because I was Maritza's teacher, and I have known the high school Employee of the Month since she was a 7th grader.
Congratulations.
And Miss Venable?
Brownfield Middle School's Employee of the Month is Miss Stacy James. She is an innovative educator who consistently develops creative lesson plans that engage learners and address diverse needs. She combines a clear understanding of curricular goals with original approach to instruction by designing hands-on activities, integrating cross-disciplinary projects, and using formative checks that allow her to adjust her pacing and support in real time. In several instances, she has transformed a standard unit into a student-centered lesson that increases participation and deepened understanding for learners, which I saw today and had to go join in on because it was so fun. Her lessons designs reflect both pedagogical knowledge and a willingness to experiment thoughtfully when it benefits all students. Beyond her instructional strengths, she demonstrates genuine kindness and care for students that she serves. She has established an atmosphere of trust by listening closely to learners, responding to academic and emotional needs, and setting high but attainable expectations. She is a quiet leader, emphasis on quiet. She does not seek the spotlight, but her influence is evident in the ways that she mentors newer staff, contributes to curriculum discussions, and reliably takes responsibility for helping and communicating with her team. When asked to implement new strategies or digital programs, she volunteers to pilot it, documents the results, and then shares practical recommendations that aid a smooth rollout. Her leadership is marked by thoughtfulness and a steady follow-through, and it's for all of those wonderful reasons that she is very deserving to be Brownfield Middle School's Employee of the Month. Me too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, so deserved.
Congratulations and thank you for everything.
High school?
Sorry about that. Our high school employee of the month, standing to my left is Baby Garcia. Oh, you good? I don't want to steal any of your life. A little bit about Ms. Garcia. Ms. Garcia has been in education for 3 years total. For 1 year, she taught 6th grade math and was a junior high girls coach at an undisclosed neighborhood school. Let's keep it at that. Ms. Garcia is going in her 2nd year with BISD, as she spent her 1st year with admin as a child nutrition director. Currently, she's teaching geometry and algebraic reasoning, along with assisting in girls basketball, softball, and track. Her passion is to help others and show them kindness as often as she can. In her free time, she enjoys attending Texas Tech events, reading, and solving puzzles. Her favorite quotes are, "Your life will be what you make of it," and "See the good." This is what some of your peers think about you. Bailey is more than deserving to receiving Employee of the Month for Brownfield High School. When it comes to her fulfilling and executing our 3 core values at the high school, she truly has exceeded all expectations for our faculty and staff. The first core value, relationships built on trust. Bailey's action in establishing authentic and caring relationships with her math team at Brownfield High School, as well as with her students, obviously go well beyond the 4 walls of her classroom and into our school community. The second core value, mutual respect. Ms. Garcia has been a professional that has exemplified mutual respect consistently and daily towards her students and their peers, both verbally and non-verbally, to whomever she comes in contact with. And our third core value, compassion for others. Ms. Bailey truly is a champion for her students in her classroom and in competitive athletics, as well as within the math department of Brownfield High School. Ms. Garcia is a total team player, always willing to go above and beyond the call of duty for her peers and her students. Therefore, it is without any reservation, but in true humility and honor, that I acknowledge and present Ms. Bailey Garcia as Employee of the Month for November for Brownfield High School.
They don't matter where you came from, we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do.
We kept trying to give her Employee of the Month last year, but she wouldn't come to work enough I'm just joking. She's a great employee. And then our last group that we had on the agenda last month to be recognized, if you are a custodian in the district, please come on up to the front. We always talk about how important these people are. They're often the first ones in the building, last ones to leave. They work so hard. They're so committed and dedicated. We're so proud to have them. You guys know how important you are to me. I always tell stories. I was a custodian. My grandmother was a custodian. So this is, you guys are the backbone of our district. And if you didn't if I don't show up to work, school just keeps happening. If you don't show up to work, everybody in the world knows it. So thank y'all for what you do. Brian, you want to say a few words?
What he said, those were the words that I was gonna say. Of course, you're the backbone. I'm just here to lead. You guys are the ones that take care of everything that goes on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, you do your job so well that sometimes feel like you don't need me from time to time, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. It just shows that you take ownership and leadership in your own positions, and that's how it should be. So for me, I thank you for absolutely making my job easier and a pleasure being your supervisor. Thank you all.
Mr. Martinez, you want to pass these out? So Mr. Martinez is a sponsor for all of our employees of the month, so he pays for all these gift cards. Casey, did you hear that? He pays for all the gift cards.
Okay, okay,
You can give the rest to Brian.
Hey, Brian.
If y'all get closer in so we can get a good picture. Can we go get her in?
Hold on. Boy, she don't have There we go. Ready, smile, all right, good job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We appreciate y'all so Again, thank you for everything y'all do. Couldn't do it without y'all. Couldn't do it without y'all. One more time. One more time. Let's leave it around. Now's the time for any of you that want to leave to go ahead and do that before we get into other things. So you're welcome to stay, but the Cowboys are playing. We're going to save the academic report for the turnaround plan. That's going to be our academic report tonight. So athletic report. LJ. Coach Johnson.
He saw him. I thought he did. Oh, he's, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, good evening. Not really a lot to talk about, but I'm going to say my age a little bit too. I too Coach Garcia. It's Slade. I think I talked to him the coaching the second time around when I got to Slade, and I talked to him in the coach here.
You said it twice already.
So, but guys, all the fall sports have wrapped up. Just very pleased with the way our kids competed, but more so, the results off the scoreboard is what really stood out to me on the boys and the girls side, because we finished what we started, and we're growing in our numbers, and so that speaks volumes when you're trying to grow a program. And I told our kids after the game, when we talked to them, I'm here to see it grow until you guys fire me. And so that's what I told our guys. I mean, and I truly mean that. I know what we're getting into, and we're here to grow it. And so thank you for the unconditional support, guys. It hasn't been easy, and you wouldn't expect it to be, because good things are coming for athletics in Cub Nation. So, but with all our sports coming, our fall sports wrapping up, guys, we've started winter sports already. I mean, if you walk a couple feet that way, we got middle school boys basketball playing right now. Girls are in Tahoka, but we've started, and so basketball is here. We are hosting our basketball tournament December 11th through the 13th. It's an all-day event, guys. I mean, it is awesome. We got some really good talent coming in. Lots of good competition. It'll be good for our boys and our girls. Got a lot of good teams coming from around the state. Powerlifting is also gearing up to start once we get back from Thanksgiving. So Criswell and Moorhead are gonna let them get plumped up with all the Thanksgiving food, and then they're gonna start working them out early in the morning. But we're gonna continue to host. You know, got different powerlifting coaches. We're going to continue to host our annual powerlifting meet. This will be our 6th annual. We looked that up. So we're going to host that on January the 10th. It'll be a Saturday. Also, non-basketball athletes, guys, right now, they're in their respective off season to get faster and stronger. I mean, basketball guys, we send basketball to basketball. We send baseball to baseball. All the ones in between, you're powerlifting, you're running track, and you're in off season. And so we want to do right by all sports and not just make everybody come to one universal off season. And so that's what we're doing right now in athletics. So,
Coach Johnson, I appreciate you being here. I mean, I'll let the board members speak for themselves, but me personally, I appreciate what I've seen in the community and what I've heard, what I've witnessed personally, and with what you're doing with our kids.
Yes, sir.
It's huge, and I think it's even bigger than what you think it is, to be honest with you. So I appreciate you here.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's our kids. I mean, testament to our kids, and you guys allowed me to bring in good quality coaches. So thank you guys. We're just getting started. I say that all the time. We're just getting started. So, but thank y'all.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Yes, sir. Information, you know, we're about a couple days till Thanksgiving break, so everybody's excited about that. We've moved into the administration office. We still have some construction going on. I talked to Mr. Cooper. Jeff came by on Friday, and I was talking to him about one of the major laws that we have to comply with, and it's a seatbelt bus. And so I asked Brian to talk a little bit about it. So the law has changed that now all seat buses have to be retrofitted to have 3-point seatbelt harnesses, and we have to submit a report to TEA. Well, I haven't even had a chance to tell Mr. Keeler this part, but Brian told me right before the meeting. But go ahead and fill the board in, because it is going to be a big budget expense coming up. So,
He's shaking his head, he ain't even looking at it. So SB 546 is that seatbelt law that they're passing, and I do believe you have to implement all 3-point seatbelts by 2029. Currently, we have 6 charter buses, 3 with no seatbelts, and 2 with just lap band 2-point seatbelts, and just 1 with a 3-point seatbelt. Talking to the charter bus companies, they will not retrofit these buses for 3-point seatbelts. What it does is, I guess Van Hool had started, their attorneys made them stop because of liability reasons down the road. They were not designed, the seats or the infrastructure underneath the buses, to carry 3-point seatbelts. We're not the only ones that are in that boat. I know, I guess once this reporting goes forward, they'll do a little bit more about that. The other 2 that do have the 2-point seatbelts, they can be modified. We're working on an expense on what that's gonna be to go from a 2-point to a 3-point. They're the same bus, just one came in with 2-point, one at 3-point when it came in. So I don't have a cost number yet. They're currently working on that. So moving on to our yellow buses, we have 14 yellow buses that are currently in our fleet. 6 of them have no seat belts at all. 3 of the buses have 3-point seat belts, and the other 3 have 2-point seat belts. We have 9 activity seat belts. Now, 9 active bus routes that we're running. The remainder are spare buses, which we have to carry spares in case one goes down. And then also, we have a spare special ed bus that has the lift. The lift goes down, not having a secondary does create a problem. Yellowbird, I've got a signed letter from the heads of Bluebird where they will not retrofit. Their buses are not designed to retrofit. They cannot. There's no safety features to be able to do that into their older buses. And this is going out to everyone in the state. We're in a situation where if we continue on our current replacement schedule with the yellow buses that we have, or get back on it, we shouldn't have a problem meeting 99%, 90% of that compliance. Because of the way we're sending 3 in every 3 years, 3 come in, 3 move down the line. But that still does leave us with, I believe, 3 buses that only have 2-point seatbelts. How the state's gonna handle that, I don't know. I'm sure everybody in the state's gonna say, because some of these buses, you know, there's a 2021 that's just got a 2-point seatbelt. You know, if it's gonna cost $60,000, $70,000 to put 3-point seatbelts in there, $150,000 for a new bus, or the state's gonna say, hey, you know what, we may have to modify that to 2-point seatbelt, but anything after this point, because we're not the only one in that situation. They're not older buses, they just weren't mandated to have 3-point seatbelts. So that's just kind of how it's coming down. No one will give us a number on what that's gonna cost. We've seen anywhere from $3,000 per seat in a 71 passenger bus, all the way up to $12,000 per seat. So,
but we have to turn in a report to TEA with an estimated amount so that they can determine what, if any, money they're gonna contribute. But if they do, it'll be the next legislative session. So that, because there's nothing in provision now for them to fund it, so they will have to have another legislative session, which is 2 years away. And can you imagine the backlog to buy buses that are gonna be compliant?
you're already a year out to order a new bus as it is. If you were to order a new bus right now, it probably wouldn't get here till September, October of next year. So once this starts, they really start pushing this and pushing new buses, it's really gonna get difficult to get there. So We're in a lot better shape than most districts. A lot of our buses have been updated. We have three yellow buses with 3-point seatbelts, but 3 out of 9 is still a ways off. So that's where we are. We're gonna try to put together some more monetary pieces on this. Once I have that, I'll get it to Mr. Smith, and he can pass it along to you.
What about our little activity buses?
Yeah.
That includes the activity.
The
bus.
activity
Oh, okay.
buses.
That does include the mini board.
Yeah.
The minibus does have a 2-point, just doesn't have a 3-point.
So we're putting together a plan. Mr. Keeler and Caleb and I met, and Brian and Ryan met last week to talk about it, and start looking at a plan and start pricing some buses, but it's gonna be, it's north of $1 million easy, like maybe even closer to 2 by the time you're all said and done. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Enrollment, we're sitting at about today we're sitting at 1595. That's a little bit up. It's down from a year ago, but it's up from where we were last week. And, you know, that's a good thing for us because our budget, like I said, we talked about, was built at 1425. So if we could stay around there, that's gonna be significant. And the more we get, the better off we're gonna be. So, that's our enrollment. And, turn over to monthly financials with Mr. Keeler.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Mr. Cooper. You have the documents there before you on the monthly board report for the reporting period ending October 31st, 2025. Nothing really to report out of the ordinary. This, as far as October, was pretty routine. One thing that you will start seeing, if they're on your object code 5700 on local resources, starting in November moving forward, that number will continue to increase. We're just now starting, you know, with companies and or individuals paying their taxes and stuff, the property taxes. And so I anticipate that number to, you know, increase significantly over the next 3 months on a monthly basis from that standpoint. So we'll hit that peak, you know, in January, and then from February on, then you'll see that decline there. So we're starting up the hill at this point. But outside of that, it was pretty routine in regards to a normal, as far as the expenses going forth there. We're trying to, working with Brian in there and continuing to wrap up the admin VEC facility there and getting all of that taken care of. Hopefully there by Christmas break, we can be pretty close to having that wrapped up from that standpoint. Comments or questions in regards to the financials? Second report you have is the investment report for October of 2025. Top half there you'll see is the accounts there, Prosperity, and the investment accounts down below. You've seen a slight decrease this month in earnings as far as interest rates also. Felt like we were around, I think it was 4.35 last month, and you're sitting at right around 4.28 this month. But we still doing well in regards to that, and like I said, keeping the bank balances as low as possible, and then keeping as much funds invested as we can for as long as we can until we need those funds from that standpoint. So, comments or questions in regards to the investment report?
Thank you, Mr. Keeler.
Yes, sir.
Get there, just give me a second. 2024-2025 financial audit draft. Casey?
Good evening. I am Casey Gast. I was the audit partner in charge of your 24-25 financial audit. And you will see, those look a little different than prior years. It's a little more floppy. We had to we were unable to issue the final due to the federal government not issuing the compliance supplement, which is tied into all of your federal grant funding. So that is why it is a working draft. We were advised by TEA that we are not allowed to issue if you had a single audit, which in your case you did have a single audit. So that was at the federal government level. The other piece of this is also that TEA is rolling out a new module for the audit to be uploaded, and that's not ready to go either. So even if we could have issued, we still can't upload to TEA. So we're just kind of in a standstill at this point. So everybody in this room did the right things. It's outside of our control. So, so kind of with that, you know, we, typical audit again this year. You did have the change in year end. I think that's kind of a big key, factor that kind of plays into everything we're gonna look in tonight. So really a 10-month audit is what you have. So when you change year ends, we're really gonna have 10 months, not the year. Even though some of those accrual amounts, like your payroll and stuff, still will be comparative, just from a sense of, you know, your teachers have worked through May, so they've already accrued all of their time. So we'll see kind of some changes there, and I'll kind of point those out as we go along. But from the audit standpoint, the district did receive the unmodified opinion or the clean audit opinion. That's what TEA is going to be looking for. So within this bound copy, all of the information within is free of any material statements and can be relied upon by outside parties. I did mention that we had a single audit. So with a single audit, it's just an additional compliance audit. So you received over $750,000 in federal dollars. That triggers this. Move it into this 25-26 year. That threshold is now $1 million. That doesn't kick you out. So you'll still continue to have a single audit. The single audit was a clean audit opinion, or, you know, nothing on the single audit of note, so that was clean. We did child nutrition was the major program. That's probably gonna be your major program. That is your biggest program that you have, so that may continue on into the future. The other thing we kind of know, we have a management comment letter that's in the back of this bound. Basically just saying from when you receive all your state foundation money, there's certain spending requirements that you have in certain programs, and the ESL was not met. So we just have a note, we cannot determine non-compliance, only TEA can determine that. So that's why it's in a management comment letter, which is outside of the audit report, but TEA will see a copy and determine any action going forward from there. I think one of the stipulations on ESL going forward is now you can put salaries into that compliance component, where before you could only use stipends or aids, so you couldn't put full salaries in. So I think that could rectify itself going forward. So like I said, we just have that comment letter that will go to TEA. So kind of with that, that's kind of the overall view. So, you know, we came out and did the audit with our year-end change. We came out in August. I think we were out at the district about 3 days, I would say. So that's still pretty good to get all of the financial audit plus the single audit pretty much wrapped up. So I think that bodes well, you know, with the accounting staff keeping everything in order. So anything we were asked for. Also, the other thing is conversion. Y'all did a conversion of your software 2 days before year end also, so that was fun. So we were still able to do it at that time. So.
Man, whose idea was that?
I don't know. I have no idea. But we still made it through, you know, kind of have, you know, trying to, you know, have to navigate those waters of what we need, because I have yet to have a district go to the cumulative side, so, but we were able to get everything that we still needed and, you know, still able to complete the audit. So with that, you know, obviously I'm gonna hit some highlights in this bound copy, but in the very front, I have provided a 3-year look. So in the governmental audit report, you don't get comparative financials, it's just a single year. So I think kind of when we're talking about stuff, it's easier to look as we're going through over the 3 years. So you kind of notice at the very top, we do have June 2025, and then the other two are gonna reflect August year end. So in that first section there, you'll see from a cash standpoint, your general fund cash did decrease from 13.9 to 13.8 in the current year. A debt service standpoint, we really saw that increase, and that big driver there is usually you'd have an August payment. You didn't have that because we stopped in June, so that's kind of one of those timing differences from changing year ends. So that'll flush out, you know, in the next couple of years. Your other funds pretty comparable, so our net cash position of 18.3 versus 16.2 in the prior year. From receivables payables, not a lot of note here, you know, due from other governments. This will be any foundation money or any unreimbursed grant expenditures that are owed to the district. So that was about 2.9 versus about the 3 million in the prior year. Moving into our fund balance, we did see a decrease in the general fund, and we'll look at that in this next section. But from your general fund side, you ended at about 3.9 versus the 15.4 in the prior year. Child nutrition fund, it had a little bit of an increase for 24-25. If they have a TDA has an excessive fund balance, so if you exceed that, you have to file a spend down plan. Well, that changed to 6 months for 24, 25, so we are below the 6 months, so we were not required to have to do a spin down plan. But we did see an increase, a small increase in the child nutrition. From a debt service standpoint, we talked about that. You had that influx, which then that'll come back out when you have that payment in August of 25. So that gave us total fund balances of 18.1 versus a 17.6 in the prior year. Moving into the general fund, just looking at the revenue piece is that next section. You can see our local looks like it decreased about 8.7. Well, if everybody will remember last year, we received about 8.8 from the permanent school fund. So that's kind of that influx. So you can see we're probably more comparable to 2 years ago on our local revenues. So kind of with last year being kind of an anomaly with that significant distribution from them. From the state revenue side, we saw this kind of slide back, but also in the prior year, you received some property value adjustments that were related to other prior years, which bumped up your state revenue about $600,000 last year. So that's kind of where you saw the decrease, or those would have been pretty comparable to the prior year. Federal revenues, that consists of your SHARs. We're kind of seeing SHARs just go down all around the state anyway. So nothing concerning there to give us our total revenues of 22 million versus the 31.4 in the prior year. From an expenditure standpoint, this is kind of where it gets a little hairy. We got 10 months going in this year, but we have the accruals that have kicked it up. But from an instructional piece, really we purchased several more computers in the prior year, and then also there has been staffing decreases. So that's kind of where you see that at. From a general admin, maintenance, and operations side, also still kind of all payroll related from that decrease. And then you see on your capital expenditures, this is the big one, there's the admin building. So 4 million in this year, about 3 million in the prior year. And if we kind of move down, that gave us total expenditures of 23.6 versus 24.8 in the prior year. So we did, if you're looking at just the current year, you did decrease fund balance by 1.5, but I would point out you put in $4 million of capital outlay. So had we potentially not had that capital outlay, we probably would have been in a different boat. But remember, we do have earmarked from the prior year that influx of that fund balance, which would then kind of offset this other 4 million. So you did, if you kind of move down, you can see your months of fund balance stayed the same at about 7.1. So even with all of this movement, we kind of stayed right at the same amount of months of fund balance, which CEA likes to hear 3 to 4 months is kind of their rule of thumb. Also, that's tied to one of the indicators in the first rating, but we will have no problem passing that indicator. If we're moving down, y'all kind of talked about enrollment as of current, but as of 24-25, your ADA was 1,467. So that was a decline of almost 1,500 in the prior year. So that kind of played with some of that state aid as well. So yeah, you can see then on the summary of finances, this looks a little deceiving. I told you about the 600,000 in the prior year on the state aid. So that's why it looks like we had more state aid from a summary of finance position than an actual revenue. Your property values, you remain pretty steady there from current to prior year. So those were all just kind of drivers that kind of affected your revenue sides. From a debt service standpoint, like I said, we've missed having a payment in August because of the year-end change, so you were able to increase debt service by about 2 million. So like I said, that would then come out in 25, 26. From kind of the capitalization standpoint, that's that next section there. You had about almost 56 million in fixed assets net of depreciation, with about 35 million in debt outstanding still. There was a tax maintenance note also that was in the general fund side, and that was paid off in the current year. So that will be one less expenditure going forward from that side too. I know I just threw a lot of information at you to go through this 3-year look. Is there any questions, concerns, comments? I think y'all are pretty well informed month to month of your financial position, so. With that, there's just a couple of schedules I like to look at in the audit report. It'll be on page 47, title page 47. This is our budgetary comparison. This is our general fund, from our general fund only. And basically you have to set a budget, then you amend the budget, and then TEA is gonna come in and look did you did you not overspend your budget? So that's gonna be in that middle section they're looking at is the expenditure section. And we did have some overspending, you'll see in function 12, which is instructional resources and media service, and also extracurricular activities. So I just wanna point that out because TEA will send you a letter just saying don't overspend your budget. So I haven't seen any other TEA take any other action than just send the letter, but just making sure you're getting those budget amendments in and not overspending your budget. The other one I like to look at will be on page 57. And it's kind of side to side. This is our tax schedule. Whenever you change year ends, you also have to provide two tax schedules. So page 57 and 58 are tax schedules. One is a 12-month look, which is the one on page 57, and then the one on page 58 is your 10-month look. So whichever one you want to look at, it's going to end in the same result as of 6/30. So you can see we did have an increase, if we're looking at the very last line there. From last year, we had outstanding about 246. This year, we have about 425,000. So you can kind of see by year how much is still outstanding by year on the far right. And then on your far left, it gives you a 10-year look of where the property tax rates, what you've said as property tax rates, along with what the assessed values have been. And if we're good there, one of the last schedules I want to look at this is just on page 69 is our schedule of expenditures and federal awards. So this is just kind of to show you, here's all the expenditures, here's all the programs that you're getting federal dollars from. And then our total at the bottom is the 3.4, which like I said, moving that threshold is not going to affect the district. Because I expect y'all are gonna probably maintain or stay in these kind of spending thresholds from your federal standpoint. And like I said, I can go over anything else in this fun little audit report, but those are just kind of the highlights. And then the last thing I always provide is the benchmark. So it was in the front as a loose piece of paper, and it just kind of gives a look at all of these different benchmarks with other districts. Keep in mind this will be for 23-24 information because that's what was available on TEA's website. But just kind of, I think this is your football district plus some surrounding districts. So to kind of give you an idea of where your funds per fund balance are, expenditures per student, tax rates, maybe even outstanding debt and outstanding debt per student. So, and at the bottom kind of gives an average of some of those as well. And when looking at this, y'all are up against some big Chapter 49 schools that get a lot of money, so I think y'all about middle of the road with everybody.
You got a lot of outstanding debt, too.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate y'all having me tonight, and like I said, really appreciate, working with Chris, Ronald, Caleb, everybody, keeps everything, makes our job easier when everything's done right.
Casey, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you coming tonight, too.
Yeah.
And just for clarity, there's no action taken tonight since it's a draft.
Yeah, cannot take action. So don't know when, but when that gets issued, I'll send over the certificate of award to be signed and y'all approve it at whichever meeting comes up next. So TEA's deadline for y'all right now, they did, like I said, in November, for junior ends, November is usually the deadline. They've extended that because of the compliance supplement and also they don't have their module up and running. They've extended y'all through February, so we'll see.
Probably February.
That's what if not extended again, I don't know. I don't have a lot of high hopes.
Who knows?
I'll probably be doing your audit next year and, maybe we can issue this.
We'll get you two
Get both
at the
of
same
them.
time.
Yeah, we'll be like, I'll present the next year one and be like, all right, can you present it to you?
That's assuming there's not another shutdown.
There you go, yeah. There's a lot of things that have to happen.
Thanks, Casey.
But appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Casey. We'll move on into the consent agenda consisting of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Mr. President,
Cat,
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
it's been moved by Cat Gonzalez and seconded by Julian Hernandez to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is passed. Budget amendment, Mr. Keeler.
What you have before you here is a report, one-page report that is part of the agenda. I had anticipated this really being an action item for the budget, for the board for a budget amendment. But as you can see before you here, this is had the majority of these that came in to the district in here were to their activity funds, which doesn't require board action. However, I still wanted you to know these individuals, these businesses, these companies, you know, and the commitment and the involvement from community members that they have within the school and the different campuses, the different organizations that they help support. So I just felt it was still important and vital that we list these for you. So if you see these individuals or the companies or run into them in and out of town, one, you know what they're doing and how they're helping the school district, and then two, that gives you the opportunity to say something to them at that time. So this was just, like I said, you know, between the high school, BEC, middle school, and Oak Grove, just showing you who is contributing and helping out at different areas within the school district. And I believe it shows, you know, the kind of commitment and service you have from your community members towards the school district, and the strong involvement and support that you have here within this community. So I just wanted to bring that before the board.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Keeler.
Yes, sir.
We'll move on to consider campus improvement plans. Ms. Vera.
You have all of the campus improvement plans submitted by each campus leadership team. Do y'all have any questions on any of the goals or?
Mr. President,
Tim?
I move that we approve the campus improvement plans as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Tim Swearingen and seconded by Cat Gonzalez to approve the campus improvement plans as presented. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is passed. Consider approval of the Oak Grove Elementary turnaround plan. Ms. Vera.
So you have the TEA template in front of you that has the targeted improvement plan. This plan, as a campus, we have to decide which of the areas in the plan that Oak Grove necessarily falls into. And because some of these apply to high schools, you know, for graduation requirement, that doesn't align with Oak Grove. We have ACE, that doesn't align with Oak Grove. School model change, we're not changing the model of the school, and I'm going down the template tabs on the bottom. Texas partnerships, that does not apply to Oak Grove either. Closure, we're not at that point either, that we would have to reassign or do anything different. The next is curriculum and instruction. That's clearly one that aligns with where we are. We have also, part of the curricular and instruction is that you adopt a new curriculum, which Oak Grove did this year with the LASSO 3 grant. that is the Bluebonnet materials for reading and math. As far as the LASSO grant that we get for the Strong Foundations, that is for reading and math, the high-quality instructional materials, although we've been doing it for the past 6 years. This year, the state aligned those high-quality instructional materials with the Texas standards, so it only made sense to go with the Bluebonnet materials. There's not a whole lot of change in the actual materials from the previous year, but they have aligned some of those Common Core items with Texas standards. So the beginning of the template, and of course, this is a template we have to follow. TEA puts this template out. You can't add anything to it. You can't adjust anything. You smile like you know. So you do exactly what they ask you to do, and that's what we've done. So we are in a turnaround plan because we had the 2 years as an F for 23, 24, and 24, 25 that we got a couple of months apart. With the system, if you look at the first system that applies, or the first tab, is the student outcome goals. In this part of the requirement, we are asked to look at the MEETS level for STAR performance for reading and for math. They don't allow us to add any other subject areas. That is the focus. So as we look at the reading language arts MEETS goal, we have set that at 40% for next year. And we did set all of these component scores at the C level. So everything that we've set our goal to be a C next year at Oak Grove. So that was what the team decided that our goal was, so that's what we set it as. For math, the MEETS level in math, we've set at 38%, and what we did look at is actual student numbers, so looking at increasing by certain percent, what is a number? Like looking at kids in the face and saying, okay, if we can increase that by so many kids, then we can get to that percentage. So that's what those were set at. The next boxes are the 4 parts that go into the domain 3 score. So what that is it's broken up into academic achievement, the growth status, and our ELP students, our ESL, and then the student success criteria. If you notice on that ELP status, we have 100%. The reason is because this year we got 100%. So we left that. We weren't gonna, try to do any less than what we got this year. So we got all the component scores for that population. So we left that where it was. The academic achievement, we always put our growth goal as higher because we do better at growing kids than we do at actual passers. So that reflects where that difference is there. Do y'all have any questions with the STAR score, student goals? So when you go across to curriculum instruction, Ms. Peck is gonna present that slide for us.
So one of the questions it asked is to describe the assessment plan for our campus, and one of the things is we're increasing the effective use of our curriculum embedded assessments. And with those assessments, we're going to ensure timely adjustments are being made to instruction, whether it's a whole group adjustment or if it needs to be adjusted for tier 2 and tier 3, which is our E&I time. We're making sure that all grade levels are administering curriculum embedded assessments with fidelity according to the grade level and subject pacing calendars. So our coaches do a great job making sure all of our assessments are paced out within the units. And then once we have that assessment data, we're reviewing it once again to guide our intervention. We are doing different analysis protocols such as SWOP, which is student work analysis. So it's taking the work that the students are completing in class and then bringing it to PLC to go over and see if there's misconceptions or if students are understanding as a whole. We're also doing data digs on our common assessments. We recently just did data digs on our interim assessments to see where the kids are falling versus like in the standards, or just making sure that the kids themselves are making progress. And then we're working to make sure that it's calibrated across the grade levels to ensure reliable scoring. One of the next boxes is how PLCs are organized. So they're organized primarily by grade level and content area. And within the PLCs, our discussions are on curriculum, assessments, and student learning needs. Each grade level PLC will include core content teachers, and we're ensuring integration across the subject areas and having shared accountability for those student outcomes. Our PLCs meet weekly, and we focus on lesson or module internalization, data analysis, whether it be common assessment data or student work, and then we discuss intervention plans or if there needs to be an opportunity for reteach, and then follow up and progress monitoring. How frequently PLCs will occur. Our campus PLC plan is designed for formal PLCs to occur weekly. Within those PLCs, they are collaborative and a reflection time to improve student learning. Within those PLCs, once again, we're focusing on those two key priorities, which is internalization of curriculum and data analysis for student learning evidence. Within PLCs, the teachers will internalize their lessons prior to PLCs, and then when we meet together, we have collaborative discussions on the unit and modules. And then we have our dedicated sessions that focus on data, and then plan targeted interventions. And the next question is who will facilitate PLCs? So instructional coaches, myself, or the APs will help facilitate PLCs, and we'll keep those consistent protocols, data analysis, student work, math has exit ticket analysis, and we're just ensuring fidelity to our curriculum and student outcomes. As a school leader, we'll monitor the implementation, we'll make sure PLC time is protected, and provide feedback. And school leaders, principals, assistant principals, instructional coaches, and teachers are required to attend PLCs. The next question is the PLC protocol. I've hit on this a little bit already, but our campus PLC plan is designed to ensure that there is continuous and collaborative reflection and planning to improve student learning. Once again, back to that two key priorities, internalization of the curriculum and the data analysis that shows evidence of student learning. Coaches, admin will facilitate PLC using consistent campus tools. So a lot of this is very similar in like the work we're going to do with PLC. So the data analysis, the student work, the paying attention to student outcomes and looking at individual students. And then we'll monitor the implementation, protect PLC time, and then offer feedback to ensure alignment between planning, instruction, and student results. Any questions on that part?
I got a question, Ms. Peck. You said you're gonna be doing data digs on seeing if kids are gonna be falling through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what's the, how often are you gonna be doing those? Once a month, twice a month, every 3 months?
So we're doing those after the common assessments. So those just depend on how long the units are. They could be a month, they could be 6 weeks. And then we have our other data points too. So our interim assessment data, we're about to take our MAP test. And so we are looking, we have our teachers fill out data spreadsheets, and we're able to see, are they progressing up and growing, because ultimately that's the goal, or has there been some slide? And we even compared, like, if a fourth grader, what they did in third grade to make sure that they're progressing, or, you know, if they did really well in third grade and then something happened in fourth, like, we want to make sure that they are progressing. So we are looking at it very individual students, and then the teachers make a plan for their E&I time. The teachers did a great job working to how they were going to divide up their E&I time, and then they decide which kids they're going to work with in pool, and then it's very data driven.
So if say a kid is falling behind and without changing the curriculum for the students that are on track, I mean, what's the plan for them if they are falling behind other than just E&I?
So,
Or is that it?
We'll continue to progress monitor, and it may be a discussion of maybe what they're doing in E&I is not working, and it might have to be, you know, shifting what is the root cause. Is it a skill problem, or is it a reading problem or fluency problem, and then just going back, not having to backtrack and target that individual need.
And can you access, like, if that student was behind, like, say they're in fourth grade, can you go back and see what they did the prior years to see?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We can go all the way back to
Yeah.
pre-K.
And we have really focused on looking at that to make sure, you know, if they were mastery level at third and then they were going to meet on at fourth, like what happened? So we've been very reflective to, you know, have some of those conversations of, was there a jump in the standards? You know, looking at different variables.
This is the best job they've done with data in at least 4 years. Like, in terms of taking data and really applying it to instruction, it's gonna be impactful, and it's gonna show, I really believe that this is gonna be the biggest component that's gonna move Oak Grove from where it's at to where it's gonna be, you know, this next year and then beyond that. So what they're doing is best practice. It's a hyper focus on student growth, and it's the best we've been able to use that data in a few years. Probably since 2020, when there was such significant gaps developed, it was easy. And now it's a little bit more, you have to have a little bit more refined practice. So those ladies right there are doing a great job for the students and setting them on the best pathway. But we've talked about before, like even in our board training, we have some serious deficiencies that don't just, it's not gonna go away overnight. I mean, there's some things that we have to work on district-wide, so.
And all of these things that are in place for this plan, it wasn't something that we just did this year. It's what we've been doing since the LASSO grants came out. So this is year 3, and so it wasn't anything anybody extra had to do. There wasn't anything extra put on teachers. There wasn't anything extra put on these ladies. It was stuff that we're already doing as requirements of the grant. So it's pretty much putting all the things that we're doing into the template. Of course, you know, this does include ECRs, which is the writing component of the reading test, and also science as well. But the grant, the grant does not cover the science, and it does cover reading, but also it doesn't ask for those specific metrics in the plan. So we have included it because that's what we do with science as well, because we are monitoring how our 5th grade is doing because they do test.
Yeah, and the important thing to point out too is this is not a comprehensive plan. This is the plan that we must fill out to comply with TEA requirements. We do more than what is listed there, so every subject area is touched. It is not a comprehensive, this is what we do every day. It's what Ms. Vera said earlier. They give you the template. You're not allowed to deviate from the template. You have to put what they want to see in the template, and that's what you see before you. It's been put together by instructional coaches, administration, service center personnel, After you guys approve it tonight, it'll be sent to TEA where the commissioner can review it and then send it back to us if he wants us to add other stuff. So it's been, you know, it's been pretty intentional, pretty intensive, and everybody's been working, you know, to make this work. So.
And this is a 2-year plan, so it goes through 2028.
So this is already November in this year. How would you say things are going?
I think we have some pockets that we're really seeing some growth. Our needs level on our interim assessments, I mean, we were pretty pleased with. There's still some work on the approaches level, but on the needs level, we were pretty pleased. Our common assessments, the same thing. I feel like we're seeing good things at needs level. We're still making sure, you know, our kids who are scoring at did not meet, we're still, you know, moving the needle on those students as well.
I assume because this is a turnaround plan, I haven't heard you talk about anything about the kids that are at the meets level. If we're doing any, I mean, I assume we're doing something to push them on, but I guess it wouldn't be listed in here in a turnaround plan
Not in
scenario.
this way, but we do have campus, like, you know,
Right.
ensuring that we're not letting our meets and masters kids slide.
And the data templates that they keep, they're all color coded. Like you can see, where they scored in the multiple assessments that are, in that template, you know, from interims, previous star, current star, unit assessment data, and it's all color coded. So you could just by glance, look at a kid on where they scored last year and know, okay, if they're a green, they need to be a green again this year. We have to make sure that they're not falling below and going yellow, right? Yellow or even red.
And, sorry to
No, go
interrupt,
ahead.
but, in both math and reading this year, Laura and I have implemented with teachers setting goals with individual students and having students take ownership of their growth that they're making. And so teachers have sat down and made, goals with them based on their prior star score, or if they're coming in as a 3rd grader and don't have that prior score based on data from their 2nd grade year, setting that goal so that each individual student has got a goal that's higher than what they had the year before. And so we're pushing for that growth at every level, even at the mastery level, and so to help ensure that our numbers are increasing.
I'm gonna say K through 5, we have every classroom is doing individual student data trackers where kids are tracking their own data so that they can see those growth points. And honestly, I think this week we had some teachers say kids were really upset that they weren't meeting their goals, and there was some tears. So I feel like the kids are starting to buy in and wanting to do better.
We even have teachers that, we have a 3rd grade reading teacher that has all of their percentage goals around in the room, like from their assessment, unit assessment that they took, it's right there in the front of the class. So, you know, you have some teachers that have truly bought into, you know, looking at those percentages and making sure that they're increasing.
K2 does the data trackers for in-class the same way that are color-coded. And we do progress monitoring every month for those, and they're moving kids on the data wall, and we're trying really hard not to let any of those fall through the cracks so that we can have better readers.
And if we see, like on our color-coded spreadsheet where every student is color-coded, if we do see a drop, I mean, we look, was it a certain standard that threw them off? Was it a writing test? Was it the writing that threw them off? And so really being prescriptive. Yes, that word. And just being very intentional and targeted.
So the student data trackers the students, when you say they check that themselves,
Yes.
can their parents check in on their data and see how they're doing, or it's just for the students?
So every student has their own data tracker. I'm sure their in the classroom, but,
Okay.
I mean, if that's something that the parents wanna see, we can certainly share it
And how often is that updated?
after every common assessment.
Okay. Sorry, I had a lot of questions.
No, that's okay.
Are there any other questions with the plan?
Not so much, I just wanna make a comment that's a lot to take in. And I appreciate y'all's hard work at staying dedicated to the format and then some. So appreciate what y'all are doing.
And this is what they've done different this year. This is just a workbook, working document. This isn't even what we submit. We have to enter that into another system. So, yes. But we've done it. We've done it.
3 times, right?
Yes, yes,
3 times, 3 different templates and
yes.
uploads and.
Job security.
Gotta love TEA.
And Melissa, you said that this is a 2-year plan?
Yes, sir. It's a
Until-
2-year plan.
Of course, we'll update it after we get.
Yes. I mean, because
scores.
if there's any changes that we see, even as we're going, you know, if, that we can adjust and say, okay, you know, this is not working, or it looks good on paper, but right now it's not working for us, then we'll adjust that and move in the direction that is gonna be beneficial.
Right.
Any other, yeah, any other questions?
Mr. President,
Matt,
I make the motion to approve the Oak Grove Elementary turnaround plan with expected improvements as presented.
Second.
it's been moved by Matt Baldonado and seconded by Julian Hernandez to approve the Oak Grove Elementary turnaround plan as presented with expected improvements. Is there any discussion on the motion itself? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I'll abstain.
The motion passes. Consider,
Just hasn't bounced for you. It's the update, 126.
mine looks just like yours. I don't know. Okay, consider local policy update 126. This look different.
Yes, sir. This is your $3,000 policy update. This is what TASB charged us to put all this together. Every school district in the state of Texas will be paying that $3,000 for the updates that come with the legislative session. You know most of this stuff. It's all the stuff. It goes Senate Bill 12. You know, it's all of those things that we've talked about all since the legislative session has ended. There's a couple of points that I will highlight. One is that benefits us is now we don't have to post jobs for 10 days. We only have to post them for 5. So that's a good thing. One thing that this board will have to address or talk about at some point is this board now has the authority to one time change the length of terms for trustees by December 31st of 2030 rather. So you guys can say an election term can last 4 years, or you can shorten them if you want to. But the board will have the opportunity to decide that at their, just before that date. So that's something that the board will have an opportunity to do, and I just thought I'd make sure I highlighted that. But the rest of it, guys, it's a lot of laws, it's a lot of the things that we have to comply with. It's the grievance process, it's all of the things that we've already discussed, so, and have already implemented.
Are there any questions?
Mr. President,
Tim?
I move that we approve local policy update 126 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Tim Swearingen and seconded by Cat Gonzalez to approve local policy update 126 as presented. Is there any discussion on the motion itself? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is passed. I don't think you want to close, do you?
No, sir.
I don't know where the rest of my stuff
Yes, sir.
Before, Chris and I visited Friday. He's working on his superintendent goals. We'll hopefully, unless something blows up, have those to look at it prior to maybe the December meeting and then discuss and possibly approve. So, you got anything else?
No, sir, just,
What's the date of December's?
What's the date of
the
December?
December board meeting.
I have not even
15th.
looked that far ahead.
Because the first is a Monday, so
Yeah,
it'd be 15.
mid-15th. If,
I will tell y'all now, that I'm 95% sure that we're gonna cancel school on the 19th and start, which was a half day. But we're gonna let teachers and, everybody go that half day early, so that they can, start their holiday just a little bit earlier. And, so I would have done another day, but we're not, we need some extra days, just, cause we don't know what's coming ahead. But the half day is something that, not a lot goes on, definitely instructionally, it'll let everybody get started on their break a little bit early in December. I'll send that out to staff, tomorrow.
We don't do that here.
anything else?
The board meeting,
Oh,
the
15th.
15th, yes, sir, yes, sir.
You think we'll still be here,
No,
so we'll be ready at the new building?
you know what, I've learned my lesson, yes, yes, we will be here, we will be here.
We'll
And I
notify
will-
if.
I will maybe pleasantly surprise you. I'm a slow learner. Slow learner.
You're still rooting for
Just
Chapel,
optimistic.
so
Absolutely.
what can we say? Anybody have anything else? If not, I declare this meeting adjourned.
Make sure you grab a plate even if you leave. I believe this was